Talk is here. Nice to have you.
Good morning, John. Thanks for having me.
We were told by Vasha Capellos this morning that crime is very much going to be on the agenda at the cabinet retreat because the Liberals know they're vulnerable on this. But what kind of action are you calling for as a Conservative?
Well, we're calling for a number of changes, John. We've been literally since 2021, when I was first elected, we've been asking for substantive reforms in bail and sentencing and parole and statutory release, et cetera, all falling on deaf ears, particularly on the issue of bail. We've heard from premiers of every province in this country. We've heard from police chiefs, mayors, presidents of police associations, victim advocacy groups, all asking, pleading with the government to deliver real results, all falling on deaf ears. And then we have our Justice Minister echoing just horrible sentiments following the announcement regarding stand on guard principle to protect homeowners regarding violent home invasions. He calls it the Wild West. And look what happens literally the weekend after he makes those flippant comments, completely out of touch to the reality that's happening across this country. People are afraid. They're asking the government to exercise its number one responsibility to keep Canadians safe. I don't know what it's going to take, John, how many more deaths, how many more injuries to Canadians before this government wakes up and realizes that their soft on crime agenda, their terrible policies with respect to criminal justice and community safety are failing Canadians time after time.
You mentioned home invasions. Would you support importing the castle doctrine that if somebody comes into your home, you can kill them if you want?
Well, we support what the leader has indicated. We have a stand on guard principle, which essentially makes it clear that where a person reasonably believes that an individual who has unlawfully entered their dwelling poses a threat to the safety of the person within, the use of force, including lethal force, is presumed to be reasonable. This is a significant amendment to the existing legislation of self-defense law under the criminal code. We basically empower homeowners to make the right decision. They literally have seconds to make that right decision, as opposed to the existing law where after the fact, you have a court years after the incident determines a 9-factor test to determine if that use of force was reasonable in the circumstances.
Would you advocate for the return, because for the most part we've abandoned them, to mandatory minimums?
Absolutely. We have long called for the repeal of C5. As a former Crown attorney, John, I echoed when the legislation was debated in the House of Commons about the dangers of repealing significant mandatory minimums. That been upheld by appellate courts, including the Supreme Court of Canada. I fail to see the logic, given the opiate crisis that we have in this country with respect to the fentanyl overuse and the deaths, why they would allow producers of this poisonous drug to literally ask for a conditional sentence as opposed to a mandatory period of incarceration.
Thank you for this. Good to have you.
Good to have you, John. Thank you.
That is the Shadow